My goodness, is it freaking pouring down like buckets on my freaking head. The economic collapse blog. And you gotta remember something, and I know I said this the other day. WebBot talked about these, like rivers dumping down from the sky on people and record-breaking everything related. And I said, well, this hurricane came through. You could argue that if another hurricane were to come through, it would cause the same kind of a thing. Is it really a WebBot hit? Well, here's the issue I have. This particular hurricane, Harvey, unprecedented disaster, Hurricane Harvey has shattered the rainfall record for the continental United States. Now, when I have a particular storm or hurricane shattering the all-time high record, and the WebBot in advance telling us that this kind of stuff's going to be happening, I think I'm now going to have to say we got a WebBot hit, to be fair here. And yes, it is raining loud, as loud can be here. Like, just insane. Never before have we seen a Trump dump. Never before have we seen a storm dump more than 50 inches of rain on a single location in the continental United States. The previous record rainfall in the continental U.S. occurred when Tropical Storm Amelia dumped 48 inches on rain on Medina, Texas in 1978. Medina. Is that where Tone Loc got that song? Funky Co Medina. No, he did not. But now one spot in southeast Texas has already received 52 inches of rain, and the rain continues to fall. In overall, 14 different spots in the Houston area have already gotten more than 40 inches of rain. Authorities are telling us that this will easily be the most costly disaster in all of U.S. history. But nobody will be able to truly assess the total damage that has been done until the rain finally stops. Sadly, meteorologists say that some parts of Texas will continue to get more rain all the way through Thursday. By that time, some areas may receive an additional 20 inches of rain on top of what they already have. Wide swaths of southeast Texas have been devastated by Tropical Storm Harvey, with some areas drowning in nearly 40 inches of water, and Lone Star State residents are bracing for another beating with up to 20 more inches of rain. If you have seen video of the flooding that is taking place in Houston, it is hard to imagine that things could get much worse. As I mentioned above, many areas already have more than 40 inches of rain, and one spot in southeast Texas has actually gotten 52 inches of rain. A preliminary report from a rain gauge at the Cedar Bayou, east of Highlands, Texas, reported 51.88 inches of rain as of 3 p.m. Tuesday, according to the National Weather Service. Earlier in the day, a weather station southeast of Houston at Marys Creek at Winding Road reported 49.32 inches of rain. Both reports break the previous continental U.S. record of 48 inches set in 1978 in Medina, Texas by Tropical Storm Amelia. In addition to all of the rainfall, a major problem is the fact that river levels are rising to extremely dangerous levels. One levee has already been breached, and water has gone over the top of the 108-foot spillway for the Addicks Reservoir for the first time in history. Remember what was the one, the dam, California? Oh, what was that thing called? Why can I not think of the name of this dam? The reservoir, right? On the tip of my tongue too. But anyways, you know which one I'm talking about. It flooded, it made over the levees, caused utter destruction. Now people are gold panning due to all the destruction that happened in the banks, outer banks, and where that thing poured into. So, first time in history. That's not a good sign. An already swollen reservoir west of downtown Houston overtopped its spillway Tuesday, sending an uncontrolled release of Harvey's floodwaters into nearby neighborhoods as a separate levee breach south of the city prompted an urgent warning for residents to leave immediately. Floodwaters in the Addicks Reservoir, located about 19 miles west of downtown, went over the top of the 108-foot spillway for the first time in history, threatening immediate surrounding subdivisions. Unfortunately, disasters such as this tend to bring out the worst in people. As I mentioned yesterday, police have been busy rounding up looters, and some businesses have been caught engaging in extreme price gouging. Over the weekend, more than 500 complaints of price gouging were lodged with Texas Attorney General's office. I suppose that it's just human nature to do that, but to me that is utterly shameful. It is during times of testing that our character is truly revealed. So many down in Houston have been absolutely incredible throughout this entire crisis, while others have shown us, all of us, who they really and truly are. Our fourth largest city is in the process of literally being destroyed, and I am so thankful for everyone that is working to rescue, house, and feed those that are in desperate need. Sadly, there are others that are not stepping up to the plate, and they are being greatly criticized for it. And I heard Joel Osteen, mega fake Christian, with his $10.5 million house, of course, that I'm sure God wants him to have. They were saying he wouldn't let people into one of the churches he had over there, something they closed them out. Good thing I got some tissues back here. But that's a whole, a whole other story. Don't let me crap on someone's religion, just pointing out the facts. According to the former FEMA director, Michael Brown, the economic damage being done by this storm will ultimately make it the most expensive natural disaster in the history of America. Quote, there are several factors that make it worse than Katrina. For one, there is the scope of the flooding. Harris County and the surrounding areas are so saturated. Also, the amount of damages will continue to grow. There will be mold and structural damages adding up. Brown said when Tropical Storm Harvey finally goes away, it will leave an incredible bill for taxpayers to pick up. This will be unfathomably expensive for both the private sector and taxpayers, Brown said. This will be easily the most expensive natural disaster in American history. Trust me, there's going to be some insurance companies with their hands out to Uncle Sam. We're bankrupt if we try to pay for the damages, the insurance claims. We need some help. We need a bailout. Please pray for Southeast Texas and for all the people that have had their lives turned completely upside down by this storm. We have never seen anything like this before in the history of our country, and this crisis is still far from over. Now, I know there's been a few people send me some links. Hey, did they steer the storm? Did they help the storm, gain speed and go in that route, the route it's on in Texas? I don't know. I can't sit here and say that I know for sure. But I do know when you can see massive streaks of chemtrails in the NEXRAD radar imagery, that is a massive amount of chemtrails, like we saw when Hurricane Sandy happened to go do a curveball over by New York City and then cut back over. It only cut over when there were massive chemtrail lines being picked up on the radar, weather radar. I don't remember the girl's name, but she posted it on YouTube. I remember watching the video. And all of a sudden, now the storm takes a hard left and floods the DTCC building, Seed & Co., the one that stored $36 trillion of stocks and bonds and paper assets. And a lot of it's damaged. And then they tried to clean it up, the water damage and whatnot. How water gets into a vault that is fireproof and waterproof, I don't know. But then a fire started, and they lost even more records. And I'm still waiting for the day to come to find out just what records were lost and when they're going to use that excuse. We'd like to show you those records, lawsuit or something. We can't because they were damaged in Hurricane Sandy. I can't wait to see just what records those were. But we're all going to have to wait for that. So this is something we were worried about as the storm was coming up. This one here, Harvey. Imagine the impact on the oil industry. Texas, Gulf of Mexico. And again, it's up there in Louisiana. What kind of damage is it going to cause over there? Speaking of, Hurricane Harvey. Affected areas. I'm just kind of looking. Take a look at this. Nope, getting over here to Louisiana. Got all these outer bands. I mean, there's probably going to be flooding and things elsewhere. Maybe not nearly as bad, but nonetheless. I don't think we've seen anything yet. I mean, we're hearing stories. Matter of fact, I meant to show you this. Did I not show it? I don't know if I just turned it off. That's what it looks like. But we don't know what kind of damage is really going to be shown here. This could possibly make Katrina in Louisiana look like a walk in the park, and that was freaking devastating. Is the club going to use this to let the markets come down finally? I thought so at one point. And then I saw this little thing over on Zero Hedge. Traders panic buy stocks, shrug off nuclear Armageddon, debt ceiling, and biblical flood fears. Nope, market rallies. That's because there's intervention. Anyway, on to the next one. Take care.